Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Theology Talks, where we explore the fascinating world of spirituality and self-discovery. I'm your host, Andrew, and today we're diving deep into the mystical realm of Sufism. Sufism, a mystical Islamic belief system, has intrigued and inspired seekers of truth for centuries. In this video, our aim is to unravel the essence of Sufism, shed light on its core principles, and explore how it has influenced both the Islamic world and the broader landscape of spirituality. What is Sufism? Sufism, also known as Tasawwuf, is a mystic body of religious practice found within Islam, which is characterized by a focus on Islamic purification, spirituality, ritualism, asceticism, and esotericism. This deeper identity, beyond the already known personality, is in harmony with all that exists. Sufism is less a doctrine or a belief system than an experience and way of life. It is a tradition of enlightenment that carries the essential truth forward through time. Sufism has to play an important role in the Islamic world, especially in the neo-traditionalist strand of Sunni Islam. It has also influenced various forms of spirituality in the West and generated significant academic interest. Definition and origins of Sufism. The term Sufism was originally introduced into European languages in the 18th century by Orientalist scholars who viewed it mainly as an intellectual doctrine and literary tradition at variance with what they saw as sterile monotheism of Islam. In modern scholarly usage, the term serves to describe a wide range of social, cultural, political, and religious phenomena associated with Sufis. The original meaning of Sufi seems to have been one who wears wool, Suf, and the Encyclopedia of Islam calls other etymological hypotheses untenable. Woolen clothes were traditionally associated with ascetics and mystics. Another explanation traces the lexical root of the word to safa, which in Arabic means purity. And in this context, another similar idea of tasawwuf as considered in Islam is tazkiyah, which is also widely used in Sufism. These two explanations were combined by the Sufi al-Rudabari. The Sufi is the one who wears wool on top of purity. Others have suggested that the word comes from the term al-Sufa, the people of the Sufa or the bench, who were a group of impoverished companions of Muhammad who held regular gatherings of dhikr. One of the most prominent companion among them was Abu Huraira. These men and women who sat at Al-Masjid al-Nabawi are considered by some to be the first Sufis. The relationship between Sufism and Islam. As a mystic and ascetic aspect of Islam, it is considered as the part of Islamic teaching that deals with the purification of the inner self. By focusing on the more spiritual aspects of religion, Sufis strive to obtain direct experience of God by making use of intuitive and emotional faculties that one must be trained to use. Tasawwuf is regarded as a science of the soul that has always been an integral part of Orthodox Islam. Devotion to Muhammad is the strongest practice within Sufism. Sufis have historically revered Muhammad as the prime personality of spiritual greatness. The Sufi poet Sadi Shirazi stated, "He who chooses a path contrary to that of the Prophet shall never reach the destination." O Saadi, do not think that one can treat that way of purity except in the wake of the chosen one. Sufis have historically stressed the importance of Muhammad's perfection and his ability to intercede. The persona of Muhammad has historically been and remains an integral and critical aspect of Sufi belief and practice. In the 13th century, a Sufi poet from Egypt, al-Busiri, wrote the Al-Kawakib ad-Duraya fi Madkhair al-Bariya, the celestial lights in praise of the best of creation, commonly referred to as Qasidat. Al-Burda, poem of the Mantle, in which he extensively praised Muhammad. This poem is still widely recited and sung amongst Sufi groups and lay Muslims alike all over the world. The historical development of Sufism is a complex and rich journey that spans over a millennium. Sufism emerged in the early centuries of Islam and evolved in response to various cultural, intellectual, and spiritual influences. The origins of Sufism can be traced back to the early Islamic period 8th to 9th century. It was influenced by the ascetic and mystical practices of early Muslim hermits and mystics. These early Sufis sought a deeper understanding of Islam and a more profound connection with God through acts of devotion and inner contemplation. In the 10th century, Sufism began to organize into distinct orders or tariqas, each with its own spiritual practices and teachings. This period saw the emergence of prominent Sufi figures such as Junaid al-Baghdadi, who emphasized the importance of spiritual knowledge and inner refinement. Sufism experienced significant growth and influence 12th to 13th century, especially through the works of renowned figures like Rumi, Jalaluddin Rumi, and Ibn Arabi. Rumi's poetry, collected in the Matnawi and Divan-e-Shams-i Tabrizi, emphasized love and union with the divine, making him one of the most celebrated Sufi poets. 12th century onward, Sufism spread to the Indian subcontinent, where it played a vital role in shaping Islamic culture and spirituality. Prominent Sufi saints like Moinuddin Chishti and Nizamuddin Awliya are celebrated for their teachings and the establishment of Sufi orders in India. The Mevlevi order, known for their iconic whirling dance, was established during the Ottoman Empire and became a prominent Sufi order 13th century onward. Their founder, Mevlana Rumi, and his disciples, known as the Whirling Dervishes, continue to be influential figures in Sufi history. Sufism played a significant role in the Safavid Empire of Persia, modern-day Iran, in 16th century. The Safavid rulers promoted Twelver Shi'ism and supported Sufi orders like the Naqshbandiya. It's important to note that Sufism's development is characterized by a wide range of Sufi orders, each with its unique teachings and practices. While these key figures and developments offer a glimpse into Sufism's historical trajectory, Sufism remains a diverse and multifaceted spiritual tradition with a rich tapestry of experiences and teachings. Core philosophical principles. Sufi philosophy includes the schools of thought unique to Sufism, the mystical tradition within Islam, also termed as tasawwuf or faqr, according to its Arabic and Persian roots, respectively. Here are some of the core philosophical principles of Sufism. Tawhid is the belief in the absolute oneness of God, Allah. This concept forms the foundation of Sufi thought, as seekers strive to realize and experience the unity of all existence with the divine. In Sufism, Tawhid is expressed as only absolute reality is absolutely real. To the Sufi, this concept of Tawhid is different from pantheism, as the Sufistic Tawhid is not everything is God, but rather God is everything, or there is nothing except God. Love and devotion, ishq and eshq. Love is a central theme in Sufism, and Sufis often speak of a passionate love for God. The Sufi path is guided by intense devotion and a desire for spiritual union with the beloved God. Sufi orders, tariqa. Sufism is organized into various orders or paths, each led by a spiritual guide, sheikh or peer. These orders offer structured spiritual practices and methods to help disciples progress on their spiritual journey. Repentance, sincerity, remembrance, and love. These are the 4 principles of Sufism outlined in the book The Principles of Sufism by Aisha al-Bayuniya. Seekers are advised to repent of selfishness and turn to a sincere life of love. Divine knowledge. Sufism emphasizes the importance of acquiring divine knowledge through revelation and discovery. This knowledge is obtained through spiritual practices and methods, rather than through reason and opinion. Mystical illumination. Sufism seeks to achieve mystical illumination, which is the direct personal experience of the divine. Seekers strive to transcend the limitations of the ego and experience the unity of all existence with the divine. The concept of divine intimacy, wusul, and annihilation in God, fana. Wusul is the Arabic term for arrival or attainment, and in Sufism it refers to the spiritual journey of the seeker towards God. Wusul involves a deepening of the seeker's relationship with God, moving from a state of separation to one of union. Sufis believe that the ultimate goal of the spiritual journey is to attain a state of divine intimacy in which the seeker experiences a direct and personal connection with God. Annihilation in God, fana. Fana is the Arabic term for annihilation, and in Sufism it refers to the annihilation of the ego or self in the presence of God. It is a long and slow process that involves surrendering the ego and becoming one with God. Sufis believe that the annihilation of the ego is necessary for the seeker to experience divine intimacy and to achieve a state of spiritual union with God. Fana is not about the destruction of the individual self, but rather a transformation of consciousness, a transfiguration of the illusory self into the true self. Sufis believe that the ultimate goal of the spiritual journey is to attain a state of subsistence in God, baka, in which the seeker experiences a permanent union with God. Sufi practices encompass a wide range of spiritual and mystical activities that are designed to help seekers on their journey toward God and spiritual enlightenment. These practices vary among different Sufi orders and teachers, but they share a common goal of facilitating a deeper connection with the divine. Here are some key Sufi practices. Dhikr, remembrance of God. Dhikr involves the repetition of specific names, phrases, or verses from the Quran as a way to remember and invoke God. It is often performed individually or in a group setting. Dhikr serves to maintain a constant awareness of God's presence and purify the heart. Sama, Sufi music and dance. Sama, often associated with the whirling dervishes of the Mevlevi order, involves music and dance as a form of spiritual meditation. The spinning dance symbolizes a seeker's journey toward God, with the music and movement facilitating an altered state of consciousness, meditation, and contemplation. Sufis engage in various forms of meditation and contemplation to quiet the mind and focus on the divine. This may involve reflecting on Sufi poetry, Quranic verses, or the teachings of spiritual masters. Fasting and austerities. Some Sufi orders incorporate fasting and other forms of ascetic practices as a means of self-purification and discipline. Fasting can be observed on specific days or during special occasions. Visiting holy sites and pilgrimages. Sufis often visit the tombs and shrines of revered Sufi saints and spiritual masters, seeking blessings and a deeper connection to their spiritual lineage. Pilgrimages to these sites are common in Sufi practice. Silent retreats, khalwa. Khalwa involves solitary retreats in seclusion, where a seeker can engage in deep introspection, meditation, and spiritual exercises. It is a time for self-discovery and communion with the divine. Study of Sufi literature. Sufis place a strong emphasis on studying the writings of Sufi poets and philosophers such as Rumi, Ibn Arabi, and Al-Ghazali. These texts offer profound insights into the Sufi path and the nature of divine love. Guidance from a spiritual teacher, sheikh or murshid. Seekers often form a close relationship with the Sufi spiritual teacher, who provides guidance, mentorship, and personalized instruction on the spiritual journey. The teacher's role is crucial in Sufi practice, charity, and service, sadaqah. Sufis are encouraged to engage in acts of charity and service to the community as a means of expressing their love for God and compassion for humanity. Dream interpretation. Some Sufis believe in the significance of dreams as a source of spiritual guidance. Dream interpretation is often practiced to gain insight into one's spiritual progress and receive divine messages. Sufi practices are deeply rooted in the quest for inner transformation, love, and closeness to God. They emphasize the importance of sincerity, humility, and devotion in the spiritual journey. It's important to note that Sufi practices can vary widely among different Sufi orders and communities, reflecting the diversity within the tradition. Poetry and literature play a central role in Sufism, reflecting the deep spiritual and mystical experiences of Sufi practitioners. Sufi poetry and literature convey profound truths, emotions, and insights about the human condition, love, and the journey toward God. Sufi poetry is often characterized by themes of divine love and longing. Sufi poets use vivid and passionate language to express their intense love for God, often personifying the divine as a beloved. This poetic expression of love is a central element in Sufi literature. Sufi poetry frequently employs metaphorical and allegorical language. Poets use symbolic imagery to convey spiritual truths and experiences that may be difficult to express directly. Ibn Arabi, a philosopher and poet, wrote extensively about Sufism and metaphysics. His poetic works explore complex philosophical concepts while conveying the deep spiritual experiences of a seeker on the Sufi path. Attar, Fariduddin Attar. Attar's masterpiece, The Conference of the Birds. Mantiq al-Tayr is a Sufi allegorical epic that tells the story of a group of birds on a quest for the mythical Simurgh, representing the soul's journey to God. It is considered one of the most significant works in Sufi literature. Alongside poetry, Sufi literature includes mystical writings and treatises that delve into the philosophy and practices of Sufism. Works like Al-Ghazali's The Revival of the Religious Sciences, Ihya Ulum al-Din, and Rumi's Fihi Ma Fihi provide insights into Sufi thought and spirituality. Sufi literature often includes parables and stories that convey spiritual teachings. These stories, known as hikayat or masnavi, illustrate moral lessons and deeper truths in a narrative format. Rumi, also known as Jalaluddin Rumi, stands as an iconic figure in Sufi poetry. His verses, particularly in the Mathnawi and Divan-i-Shams-i Tabrizi, revolve around the themes of divine love, unity, and the spiritual journey. Rumi's poetry exudes a passionate longing for God, using vivid and allegorical language to convey the intensity of the Sufi's love affair with the divine. His verses invite readers to embrace love as a path to God and to transcend the egoic self, fostering a deeper understanding of human existence. Rumi's The Guest House. In this poem, Rumi invites us to welcome all emotions and experiences, whether joyful or sorrowful, as guests in the guest house of our hearts. The message is one of acceptance and transformation, where every experience can be a step on the path to spiritual growth. The Masnavi. This epic poem is considered one of the greatest works of Persian literature. It tells stories and parables that illustrate Sufi teachings and principles. The message is to seek spiritual enlightenment and to strive for a deeper understanding of the divine. Hafiz, a Persian poet, is celebrated for his lyrical and joyful expressions of divine love. His poetry encourages readers to revel in the present moment, embrace life's mysteries, and seek spiritual awakening through love. Hafiz's verses are infused with a sense of celebration as he invites us to become intoxicated with the divine wine of love and to view the world through the lens of joy and wonder. His works, such as The Gift, Ghazals, are a testament to the transformative power of love and the beauty of surrender to the beloved. Hafiz's The Sun Never Says. Hafiz's poem uses the metaphor of the sun to convey the idea that divine love is ever present, whether we acknowledge it or not. It reminds us of the constant and unconditional love that emanates from the divine. The Gift. This collection of poems expresses Hafiz's ideas about the nature of love and the relationship between the lover and the beloved. The message is to embrace love and to seek a deeper connection with the divine through love. Sufi poetry and literature are celebrated not only for their literary beauty, but also for their ability to awaken the heart and soul. They invite readers and listeners to embark on their own inner journey, explore the mysteries of existence, and seek a deeper connection with the divine. Sufi poetry continues to be cherished and recited by Sufis and poetry enthusiasts worldwide. Sufism beyond Islam. Sufism, while deeply rooted in Islam, has transcended its religious boundaries and has had a profound impact beyond the Islamic world. Its teachings and practices have resonated with people of various faiths and philosophical backgrounds. Sufi mystics often emphasize the universality of spiritual truths and the commonality of the human experience. This outlook has fostered peaceful coexistence and cooperation among individuals of different religious beliefs. Some Sufi practices, such as meditation, chanting, and the quest for inner enlightenment, are not exclusive to Islam. These practices have been adopted by individuals from diverse spiritual backgrounds who seek a deeper connection with the divine. Sufism places a strong emphasis on values such as compassion, tolerance, and service to humanity. These values resonate with individuals and organizations engaged in humanitarian work and social justice, transcending religious boundaries. Many Sufis emphasize the idea of a universal spirituality that transcends religious labels. They believe that the essence of Sufism lies in the direct experience of God's love and presence, which can be accessed by people of all faiths or even those with no formal religious affiliation. While Sufism remains deeply connected to Islam, it has a capacity to transcend religious boundaries and offer its wisdom, practices, and values to a broader audience. Its emphasis on love, devotion, and the search for inner truth has made it a source of inspiration for those on diverse spiritual journeys, seeking a deeper understanding of themselves and their connection to the divine. Discuss the universal appeal of Sufism. The universal appeal of Sufism lies in its profound and timeless teachings that resonate with individuals from diverse backgrounds and belief systems. Sufism offers a direct and personal approach to spirituality, emphasizing the importance of individual experiences and inner transformation. Its focus on direct communion with the divine through love and devotion appeals to those seeking a more experiential and intimate connection with the divine. Sufi poetry and literature often explore universal themes such as love, longing, suffering, and the search for meaning. These themes transcend cultural and religious boundaries, making Sufi literature relatable to people from various backgrounds. Sufism promotes interfaith dialogue and understanding by highlighting the commonalities among different religious traditions. Sufis often emphasize the unity of all spiritual paths and the universality of divine love, fostering a sense of tolerance and respect for diverse beliefs. Love is a central theme in Sufism, and it is not limited to love for God alone. Sufis advocate for love and compassion toward all of creation, emphasizing the interconnectedness of humanity. This message of love and unity has a universal appeal that transcends religious and cultural boundaries. Sufi music, dance, and art have a universal appeal due to their emotional depth and aesthetic beauty. The spiritual resonance of Sufi music, as exemplified by the whirling dervishes and qawwali, transcends linguistic and cultural differences, touching the hearts of listeners worldwide. Sufi practices and teachings offer tools for achieving inner peace, self-awareness, and emotional well-being. These are universal aspirations that appeal to people seeking personal growth and a sense of inner harmony. The lives and teachings of Sufi saints and masters inspire individuals from various backgrounds. The universal wisdom and compassion demonstrated by these spiritual figures serve as role models for seekers of all faiths. In summary, the universal appeal of Sufism can be attributed to its emphasis on direct mystical experience, its exploration of universal themes, its role in fostering interfaith understanding, and its promotion of love, compassion, and humanitarian values. Sufism offers a path to inner growth and a deeper connection with the divine that resonates with people from all walks of life, making it a timeless and inclusive spiritual tradition. Ladies and gentlemen, we want to extend our heartfelt thanks for joining us today as we delved into the profound world of Sufism. Your presence and curiosity have enriched our discussion, and we hope that you found the exploration of Sufism's spiritual depth as enlightening as we did. As we conclude this journey, we encourage each and every one of you to explore Sufism further, whether through reading the timeless poetry of Rumi and Hafiz, seeking the wisdom of Sufi masters, or simply taking a moment for personal reflection and inner exploration. The teachings of Sufism offer a timeless wellspring of inspiration and insight, reminding us of the universal truths that bind us all as human beings.